So, what can people like me and others who are not from the coding background, who are not from the computers background, who are not interested in gaming as much, what should they do?
Web3, Metaverse, crypto, decentralized finance. These are just words for us. We feel कि ये पता नहीं क्या है. What is there in the future? Why everybody is going insane and gaga over it? So in today's episode, we have a guest who went to IIT, then IM, and then went to London to have an investment advisor job and have a cushy life. But left all of that to come to India and start building and creating the future and help India become the front runner in this new technology. We have Anshul, the founder of Totality Corp, who's building India's first Metaverse gaming system on Web3. Now imagine, we have not gotten somebody who is an expert, who is somebody who talks about it, who knows about it. We've gotten someone who's developing, breathing, creating, and doing everything in this new technology. So make sure that you watch this episode till the end, because I've asked so many questions about what are the top 3 cryptocurrencies which he believed that are going to make a significant impact in life. How you and me, people who don't understand computers at all, people who don't understand technology at all, how can they become part of this new era and start making money and wealth for ourselves? How can people who understand can also start creating wealth in this? How can people who are in college, who are in jobs, who have started their careers, and someone who's not started at all? We have covered from top level to bottom level for everyone, from beginner to advanced, about how you and me can become part of this new technology. So make sure that you don't miss this episode at all.
Sure. All right. Anshul, tell everyone, okay? In fact, I want to start with a personal belief. Okay. I believe that if you really want to make wealth, like if you're serious about making like insane amount of money, then you should stop working what you're working currently, and you should focus on what's going to be relevant 10 years from now. Mm-hmm. People who start working today for the good future or on the things which is going to be relevant in future, they make the maximum wealth. And history has proven us right again and again, right? And you are working on something like that. So what is it? What do you do? Can you tell everybody in just 60 seconds?
What we are doing, what we are creating is the future of social experience and the future of digital interactions. This is how all of us would be interacting with each other in the Web3 and the Metaverse space. And where we interact with each other is where all businesses and commerce actually happens as well, because that's where the actual economy and the digital economy would be. So that's our, the place where you live digitally, the place where you shop digitally, the place where you do all your business and work digitally is what we are building.
So you call it Metaverse, right? This is the place which you're building. Okay. But where is this place? I want to ask you like upfront, like many people are thinking, what is this? Where is it? When it's going to happen?
So I think it's already happening. 2021 was, in my view, last year was the first time we were seeing mass adoption of this technology. Obviously, we are still at early stages, right? I'll compare this to what happened with mobile apps in 2008 when Apple really released App Store. So you have to remember when apps came first, the experience was not as great. But now mobile apps have great UI, UX, great onboarding experience, because we learned in the last 14 odd years to actually get to that space, right? So we will have to give it some time, but technology evolves much faster now in much smaller cycles. So I think within the next 5 years, we will all be on these metaverses and we won't even know, because it'll actually be that seamless, right? So like, for example, my parents also don't realize how much time they spend on WhatsApp today. It's probably a lot more than what I do, right? The amount of time they spend on Facebook, because as we spend time on Facebook, we move to Instagram, we move to Twitter, and now Discord. They are now on WhatsApp and Facebook, and it's very seamless for all of us. It's just different timeline when we got onto it. Similarly, with the metaverse, the same thing is actually going to happen. And where this space is look, this is the beauty of the human mind, right? We are going to give you some 3D world rendition of what that space looks like, but emotionally and with the connect that we will have with each other and with the interactions, we are actually creating that space through our eyes and through our interactions itself. So the beauty of the digital world is that it can really exist as something really powerful because a mind actually makes it that powerful. And it'll be a mobile first experience in my view, then a little bit of AR, and actually VR is going to be the smallest subset of how we experience this metaverse.
That's incredible. Okay. And in fact, but I feel VR is like quite far, because if you look at the devices right now, and if you look at the kind of things or the interaction which we're having with whatever is available in the market, is not that great, that or some kind of device which I love to wear for like 10 hours or 20 hours in a day. With my mobile phone, I can just have it like for 20 hours and not look anywhere else as well.
Right.
But coming to your first business, okay, what was your first business?
So actually, the way we started is I was with a friend of mine from Bangalore. He is very big into liquor distribution, and we were really exploring these areas. So we opened a chain of bars, and we were really looking at sort of which are the areas which are, you know, maybe not yet legal in India, but will be frontier products that will come out. And I remember a friend of mine introducing to vaping. Now, I'm not a smoker, but he said that, you know, hey, here is a vape. This is what it is. This is a much better version of e-cigarettes, because in London, e-cigarettes were already popular at that point. But vaping to me was like this no-brainer idea. Like when I looked at it, the flavor in terms of your preference is great. It looks amazing because, you know, that matters, that if I carry a vape in my hand,
it's kind of cool.
It's super cool. So, you know, it gives you social status. It gives you something great to look at. And also, like from the studies, particularly done in the UK, it is 95% less harmful. I'm not saying it's not harmful. It is 95% less harmful than smoking, right? And my belief is that, look, this binary position we take, particularly in India, that let's eliminate anything that gives us pleasure. So alcohol, it's bad. Smoking is bad. You know, blah, blah, blah is bad. Well, even sugar is bad. Anything in excess is bad. But whether we like it or not, as humans, we want to reduce pain and we want to increase our pleasure, right?
Yeah.
And we are all lazy, right? So if you give me the least effort to get to my outcome, I'll always choose that. And that is why, like, I always consider alcohol and smoking and whatever else people do as synthetic happiness. But because it's low effort, that synthetic happiness has value, right? And if we are able to create something cool, high tech, which is also 95% less harmful, not 100% harm-free, this sounds like a great business, and also sounded like an idea that I would want to do. Yeah. So to me, I have always considered, when I look at different ideas, that stars get aligned, right? Like, oh, factor one makes sense, 2 makes sense, 3 makes sense. And suddenly with vaping, the idea was, in India, it was a white space. Like no one was really doing it in 2016. I mean, unfortunately, it got banned in 2018, 2017 end. But only a few companies that started distributing stuff, and it was booming in China and in the US, right? So it felt like a great opportunity to enter a market and see if we could become a pretty large player. It involved tech. So there is an angle that we could bring in terms of a competitive advantage as well, which is also important as a factor to do a particular business for me.
You know, I like your approach to business. I think that's a great lesson for everybody who's watching right now. Number one, you figure out the idea, like problems and the places which are going to come, but not are big yet. That's a great way to identify business opportunity. That's one. Second is, when you actually come up with an idea, you try to associate with a consumer behavior, like a human behavior. And that human behavior is, whether we believe it or no, we all are lazy and we want more pleasure than pain. That's a great insight. So then human behavior take. Then when you start an idea, you have to align all the factors till your end goal. So if, let's say, your idea is great, this the distribution, does it make sense? Is the market demand making sense? Am I going to make it like really, really big? Like all of these factors, 1, 2, 3, 4, you break it down till your end goal, and then you start pursuing. So I love this approach. Like you can summarize it and make it like a good video out of it, like how to start and run a business. Okay. That's a great one. So what was this when you started of thinking, okay, now vape is done. I understand that you want to do something in the pleasure world. Like you want to give humans more pleasure than pain. You want to give them away. So metaverse makes complete sense to me at that point. But what was this one time? When was the first time you figured out, oh, there's something like this which is happening in the world?
So the metaverse journey is a little longer than just a aha or a eureka moment, right?
Okay.
So see,
when was the first time it got like? When was the first time you figured out before your entrepreneurial journey?
So look, with my younger niece, she's based out of Canada. I have been playing Roblox for the last 5 years, right?
Okay.
And like every preteen in US and Canada, she loves Roblox, and I love games, and I have been playing Roblox with her like on weekends to just make sure that I'm engaging and I'm connected with her as well, right? Now, if anyone who has come across Minecraft and Roblox, and if you are a gamer like I have been all my life, the first time you will see a system like that, you will be like, who plays this stuff, right? Like it doesn't look great, right? It looks all these boxy art. It looks very basic. There is not a lot that's happening in the game, right? Like for gamers like me, like I used to play a lot of Age of Empire and Quake 3D. So like in IM, we used to play a lot of competitive Quake 3D with each other on LAN, right? You are really used to this highly interactive, engaging, killing each other, using all your fingers. Like if you see the consoles now, it's almost like they want to start you to use your nose and everything also, right? Like it's crazy, the complexity. And suddenly you come to this environment, which is relatively simple, right? Like, oh, press a UI button, you are dancing and you have all these emotes. Press another button, you're building stuff. And so the first thought was, why are so many people crazy about it, right? And as I kept spending time with her and asking her, what does she do with all her friends on these environments? One thing that really dawned on me is that this is the place that they hang out, right? So like when I was a kid and I used to just take out my cycle and go with my friends around the colony, actually doing nothing. And we would just, sort of cycle around and watch people and sort of see what is happening in the colony for nothing, because there's an activity for all of us to do together. This was really what these people were doing in the digital world itself. But now they are so used to the digital world that is much better for them than what happens in actual physical in real life, right? By the way, this is also before Corona. So this isn't that, oh, they were hampered in Corona because of lockdown to do this. That accelerated the trend, but they were already doing this. So my insight was really that, look, gaming for me was entertainment, right? And maybe competitive. For them, it's a place to hang out and build social connections. So what's going to happen is, like Facebook, right? So Facebook built a social network first. It was predominantly text, right? Then we got Instagram, which started doing the same thing with photographs. Then we had TikTok, which actually started doing video. So we are just progressing in terms of the intensity of social connections. So now actually what will happen is gaming will be the way you create your social connections. So that's a tick, right? We are already moving to more intense social connections. And actually all the businesses, like today, all digital businesses need a content strategy, a community strategy, a social connection strategy. The future is going to be with the foundation of gaming as your intense social network, right? Mm-hmm. So that's when it became very clear to me that metaverse is really real. And actually 5 years from now, we will live in those worlds and connect with each other through games, because that's the best way to form these intense social connections, right? Like the one last thing I'll say is, why do I believe in gaming and social connections also beyond what I was doing with my niece on Roblox? So I still play a lot of mobile games, like Clash of Clans is my favorite. I have been in the same clan for the last 5 years, and I have a lot of social connection with my clan members. Never met anyone in person, right? One of my most, I'm not afraid to say this, one of my most active WhatsApp group, right? And it's very intense when we have a clan war with another clan, right? Like people are really serious. They're like, oh, this strategy, that strategy. Everyone is competitive. They're all trying to add value. And so that connection to me is as real as any connection I have with a person in real life as well. So I think this intensity of social connection within gaming has been ingrained in me as I kept coming onto these platforms. And Roblox just showed to me that it's not just about the aesthetics, right? It's not about, oh, if I shoot, it should be a flair thing. Of course, that's a great add-on. But once you build a community, that's the way the communities of the future are going to be built on the foundation of gaming.
Sweet. It sounds like this is already happening and we are not been noticing the way you notice. Because I just remember, I don't know about Clash of Clans or anything. My brother used to play PUBG. Oh, okay. And they would like shout while they're playing, and they'll shout each other's screen names. They don't even know each other's name, but they know like there are two people who play really good, so they'll call them in their gang and they'll try to fight and play the game against other people. And they'll shout each other's name. They'll get very excited to it. And what was funny to me, that people like my brother and his friends, they really care about the level they were on. Like I was like, why do you care whether it's a bronze or a silver or a, like, who gives a shit? They're like, we do. And that was for them. They don't. So when they reached, I remember when he was at a gold level, he wouldn't talk to somebody who's at a bronze level. So it was funny to me, and I don't know how you decoded it. And so now that you noticed all of this, okay, so what are you trying to build out of it? Or is it, so I'll ask next question next. Like first, let's just complete this. Like, what are you trying to build in this? How is it going to help people? Like, we know that this is happening. What's next?
What we are building is, in the same way that we were discussing, and you rightly said that this social network has been around for a while, right? What is happening with the Web3 and NFT spaces, and with, thanks to Facebook, what they have done with changing their name to Meta, is that they're now made this mainstream, right? They're basically rung the gong, in my opinion, for every company, for every individual to say that Web3 is the future. If we, as one of the largest companies in Web2, are changing to this future, then you better watch out. There is no way that you can sit idle and say, don't know whether this is going to happen or not, right? So that's one part. So what we are saying is, look, if gaming as a foundation is going to be what you need as a core to build social network, the first thing we started building 18 months ago is our own game stack. And what that is it is very much like Minecraft, where you can create your own games, right?
Okay.
So we find Minecraft to be very easy to create content and maps and games, very difficult to publish them because you need to get your own server. On Minecraft Mobile, you can't even do it, so on and so forth. So we are really creating an ease of creation of games and ease of publishing your content to the entire community. So that's one part of our core of what we are building, right?
Okay, so you mean to say, like, anybody, let's say me, I can go to your game stack and try to build my own map and ask my community to come and hang out with me there?
Absolutely. So, and it is not only that you will be able to build the map building is also in a way, like I want my mother to be able to come in, take an existing map, remix the content very quickly, and able to publish it, right? If you want to build it from scratch, you are able to do it. But for large majority of users, they will not have the time, effort, or desire to build everything from scratch. So one of the things we learned from TikTok in particular is that remixing of content and giving templates is how you can really democratize content creation, right? And we are bringing that same aspect to game creation as well.
Yeah. So you mean to say, just like not everybody used to edit their videos, but after they launch filters or like fast slow, everybody started using them and started making better videos. You are launching, let's say, filters or different kind of plays or things which people can use to build their world and just mix it here and there.
Yeah, absolutely correct. So you're 100% right. Let's see, once these templates came, it also gave me ideas, right? Like suddenly if they will say, here is a noodle filter for you to do stuff, and I see 5 people doing it, I know what I need to do. Now I can add a little bit of my own variation and my own taste, which is what gives it a different flavor, and other people can start consuming that content. Because now suddenly for a while, I want to consume noodle filter based videos, and I can see what different people did, right? So it also makes the UGC content more interesting because you now have a benchmark to compare and see what other people are adding value to it.
Okay, so I have a serious question. Like, why would anybody do this? Like, what's in it for them? Because it'll take time. Certainly, like, why should I not go on Instagram and come here and build my own world? Like, why?
So first, let me answer, like, why will most people move towards Web3 if not all the people, right? Eventually, it'll be all. Is like I said, this is more immersive, which makes it more intense, right? Yeah. Like, for example, Of course, you can connect and communicate through text, right? So why do people love videos? Because now you can see my expressions, you can see my movement, you can see how I look, my colors. It's a deeper intensity of connection, right? Similarly, in a game, when you are actually interacting, like consider now that is not just how we look, which would be 3D avatars. So you can also have infinite amount of way you look, right? A video can only be what I am physically. In the actual game world, I have infinite possibilities to look the way I want to look. I have infinite possibilities of interacting with each other because there are no physical constraints, right? Like I could create a area which has zero gravity or infinite gravity or negative gravity that we are all flying by default, right? So no physical constraints, infinite ways for you to interact, and that interaction creates a much deeper connection, right? So that deeper connection is the natural desire that all humans have. See this, at the back of all of this, why is social connection an important aspect which will never go away, right? As humans, as a species, we have only survived because we are a social being, right? Like we were only able to beat Neanderthals because we were much larger in numbers as a tribe than they were, because as an individual, they were much stronger, right? So like the book Sapiens actually illustrates that and takes that point really well. And so being social is something innate to us, right? It's an innate need, and connecting socially with each other is hence an innate need. So anything that assists us to make that even more intense is always going to be something that we prefer over something that's a lighter way to connect with each other, right? The same way, like, by the way, like we'll obviously a lot of times connect on WhatsApp calls, right, with friends, but it doesn't beat meeting each other in person. And meeting each other in person is a much more intense connection. Similarly, Web3 gaming immersion, more intense, will be preferable by everyone. And now with technology, it is actually we are able to do it for everyone also. So that's why this is also the right time to be able to bring it to the masses.
So, for example, correct me if I'm wrong. Okay, maybe it could be completely. It might sound dumb, but maybe it's the right way I'm getting it. Okay, so for example, I want to have a race with one of my friends, other content creators. Okay, so we both do a race and put a video online, and whoever wins, and people are like writing then and there, okay, oh lovely, Raj won, or you won, or this is Raj, you lost, all of that. Okay, that you get a lot of comments. Okay, but when we are doing this on Metaverse, we can run, and while we are running, people can shout, woo, and then clap with you, because and that would be the incentive for us to, okay, wow, real time this is happening, and let's do it. Is that
correct? Yeah, absolutely. You are 100% right, right? Like imagine what you could do. And some people, by the way, on YouTube with Minecraft had tried something similar. So as an example, imagine you're running with your friend and I could block you because I want your friend to win, or I could assist you because I want you to win. So maybe I could give you some coins which give you a rocket, and now you have a rocket boost. I could maybe put some obstacles or bombs in front of your friend or you, whoever I want to lose, and they could slow down. I could maybe throw a freeze spell. I could run with you and as a support function to assist you. They could. It's like infinite ways that you can actually now interact and communicate as a clan also, right? So you are saying it's your clan versus your friend's clan. Infinite ways of creating those interactions and dynamic.
It's very good for a creator to do something like this. Plus, the community is also getting incentivized because they feel now they're a part of it. They're not only, their relevance is not only related to, let's say, like, comment, or share. Their relevance is related to making this person win or lose because they like them or they don't like them. Like
Correct.
the level, wow, this is cool. I'm already imagining, okay, what's going to happen.
Yeah, so you're absolutely right. Like now, see, like one of the things I really liked about what obviously Twitch did, which YouTube has done with Super Chat, is of course it's a great way to monetize. But I always consider monetization and commerce as another way for us to interact, which is why it will become powerful. So, like you rightly said before, if you had a video, I could only like, comment, and it's an asynchronous way to sort of do stuff, right? With Super Chat, now I can do it real time. You as an influencer or the content creator can also recognize my donation or what I'm doing at that point, so that it makes me feel good and also gives me some sort of social status in that community, which is all following you as the content creator and influencer, right? So it actually genuinely adds a lot of intrinsic value to me, which is why I'm ready to keep paying for it and parting away with money or extrinsic value for it.
Makes sense. This makes sense. So now people who are interested in this, how can they, like, what can they do to become part of it then, so that they don't miss out on this opportunity? Because if this is changing, if you're building something really intense for the future, like, people also need to get ready, right? So what are the opportunities for a common Joe like you, like me, and the people who are watching right now?
So I think, look, one part is, I would say the number one thing that everyone should do if you believe in this is start becoming curious, right? Because that's probably the most fundamental trait that will carry you along as this infrastructure gets built. And I am of a strong belief that this will be the future, but at least you will get to know and take your own call about what is happening, right? So learn about it as much as you can, get involved with other communities who are talking about this, and learn, listen to a lot of influencers who are creating content in this, to absorb what they're saying and form your own opinion. And if you believe that this is the way it's actually happening, get on board these platforms at an early stage, right? Because like every platform, if you were one of the first creators in Facebook, you got a lot of organic following because you were early, and the platform would promote you because it's also in the platform's best interest to actually get you to become a success story. Yeah. So whether that's Zionverse or any other platform, if you are early, you are not only going to have a much larger impact, and as active you are with the platform, you will create wealth for yourself, following for yourself, and be able to really see the changes in the platform, right? Because this is an ever iterative process. Even with Facebook, like Instagram, right now taking out subscriptions, even mature platforms like Instagram will keep changing. So this is a new technology area. It will keep evolving and changing. And if you also, in addition, can be part of the change, which is you help companies and infrastructure people like us create that change itself, that's going to be massive impact, and again, massive wealth that you can also create for yourself.
So let's break it down. Okay, like, what can people do with Zionverse? How can people who are watching can actually become part of this, so that mutually both the parties get benefited? What kind of people do you need, and what is that specific skill or a particular thing which you're looking for that people could come and like start doing it today?
So I would say that till the time you're curious about it, that's the only criteria which I would say you should have to join Zionverse already today. What I would love people to do already is first come and join our Discord channel. I'm sure we'll share that link in this video. It's discord.gg/Zionverse. What you will be able to get with our growing community, it's already 8,000 plus people and growing really rapidly, is as a community, we are learning together what is happening in Web3 and in the Metaverse space, right? So there is a Web3 school there. We are discussing different ideas. We are also looking at different ways we should construct Zionverse and getting a lot of real-time feedback from a community. We even talk about what game we should launch, what will be the name of the game, how do the characters look. So everything from art to dynamics of the game, we are taking input. If you want to be part of Totality to create it, there are opportunities that we share. And as a community, we are really tackling a lot of areas. Fundamentals of all of them is the curiosity we all have to build systems for Web3 together, right? So we understand this very well, and everyone understands that this is an ecosystem. It's a very ambitious project that we have. We are very curious and driven to create it, but we can only create it with the community itself. So as the community gets added and contributes to it, the faster it grows for all of us, and all of us sort of increase value in it, right? So I think that's really sort of my aim. And obviously, as we get out our products and as we get out our games, and that's the one that actually interests you, would love for people to also, be part of our NFT community and also our game community, in addition to just being part of the Zionverse curiosity community.
That's pretty sick, because not many people, whenever I ask this question, okay, I ask this question to almost every guest, like, how can people get started and help you become or build something really great? Not everybody has his answer. Like, you know what, come join us on Discord and we're already teaching. So this is like a very cool thing, because like, you came prepared. Okay, that is there. But apart from that, I want to ask you, okay, last 2-3 questions, because I'm really curious about Like, I'm interested to join this. I want to learn and grow because I feel that this, if you rightly said, like if the biggest company in the Web 2 said that, you know what, we're changing to Web 3 and you better get prepared, it means something is happening. All this buzz, it has to. Maybe 90% of the projects will fail. Maybe all of them will succeed. We don't know. But something is happening. At least 5 of them will outshine and do something, or maybe 500 of them. Okay. So we need to do something about it. So it's a really good time to start learning. And if you already have a Discord for India, that's great. But I have last 3 questions. Number 1 is, I am not a coder. Okay. And I don't understand computers. Let's just say that. So I don't understand coding. I don't understand. I'm not even a gamer. I don't understand games. The way I connect with people is talk with them, have fun, laugh, watch movies together. That's it. Like, I've never played games. I don't know how to because I always lose. Maybe that's a major reason. So what can people like me and others who are not from the coding background, who are not from the computers background, who are not interested in gaming as much, what should they do? How can they, like, what is their biggest strength and what should they work on?
So I think, like you rightly pointed out, that your strength is connecting with people and understanding what people need. See, at the end of the day, whatever we are doing with technology or metaverse or gaming is actually catering to what people need and how they can actually connect better, right? And at the core, if you have that insight, you're probably the most powerful, insightful person for any platform, right? Like, let alone Web 1, Web 2, Web 3, it could be even Web 10. Because at the core, anything that is going to be built is only going to create for what we intrinsically need as humans and what we want to do with each other, right? So if you have that insight, if you have insight of human psychology, human demands, marketing, economics, all are built on top of those human needs, right? You can actually add a tons of value. So whether you are an artist who can create models, who can create 2D art, whether you are a marketing person who understands how to create communities, how to communicate with the communities, how to engage them, whether you are a content creator of video who can now imagine that, look, if YouTube was a current platform driven by algorithm, or if you were on Instagram Reels, how is this going to evolve? So let's discuss how is this going to evolve in Web3, because video content is not going anywhere, right? It'll evolve and become something different for Web3 where people will be able to connect. If you are someone who loves to write, can you take an area of Web3 and crypto and service those demands of people for curiosity? It's like I said, it's infinite, right? Whatever area is that you're good at will be an area that will be required for Web3 and the metaverse, right? So whether you love selling even physical products, you have a great strategy on Amazon. How is that strategy going to change for the equivalent of Amazon in Web3? Because people are still going to buy physical products. I still need to eat food. So what will be the equivalent of Swiggy on Web3? If you are a food blogger, how would your world change within the Web3 space? So whatever you are good at, we are now putting an angle to say, the first part is be curious. The second part is realize the change is coming. And the third part is, with these two aspects, prepare to take advantage of this and capitalize on it rather than be scared about it.
Wow. I love you. You are not leaving any space for me to add or contribute. Okay. This is I'm not kidding. So my strength is, after every time you give an answer, I'm going to summarize everything and put it in like point 1, point 2, point 3. And that's why my audience loves watching me. You are not leaving any space. Like, you have to take it slow. Okay.
I apologize for that.
So now this is the last section. Last section is, I'm going to ask you 4-5 questions in a rapid fire way. I'm going to just keep throwing at you. And these are going to be personal opinions. It's not a financial advice. I'm going to ask you about tokens, coins, NFTs, all of these. You're free to choose whatever you want to. People are not going to take a word for it. Okay. We have people who have talked about specific stocks. People have talked about specific startups, everything.
Okay.
And this is not a financial advice. This is just your personal opinion and why you believe in it. Okay. So I'm going to ask you quick 3 things. Okay? So number 1, 3 crypto coins which you believe that it's going to play out really well in the future. I'm not saying whether it's going to be, I'm just clearing out for people, whether it's going to grow in value or no. We are not saying that. which are going to play a significant role in changing or taking Web3? That's what.
Sure. So 3 holdings I love in my crypto space. Number 1 is Ethereum. I think that has really created the ecosystem for us to create the architecture for DeFi, for the Web3 world. So I'm a big believer in Ethereum. I love Chainlink because I think they are really trying to add a different dynamic value to what actually happens in NFT gaming and the Web3 world. And lastly, I really love the Brave token, BAT, because I also think that they have taken something as utility oriented and commoditized as browsing and really shown us how data can actually be managed. And if you choose to share your data and see advertisements, you as a consumer also then get a value out of it. So those are my 3 holdings.
Now, next 3 are, what are the top 3 NFTs you feel are going to build a good community?
So obviously I'm biased. I have to say Zionverse. We have already launched a Lakshmi NFT last month. I feel being part of Zionverse is number 1, but I have obviously a huge bias towards it. The number 2 project that I love is actually Punk's Comic. They created an entire ecosystem and universe, starting with CryptoPunks, which is probably one of the most popular projects out there, and really created content like comics out of it, and then segregated to create their own universe of meta heroes. And the third, I would say, I'm very intrigued by what Mobox is doing, because I think we have a similar philosophy with Mobox, that they're combining finance, gaming, as well as NFT investments and social status. So I really like how they have fundamentally brought all of these things together.
Oh, are you holding, like a quick question, are you holding any of the CryptoPunks?
I don't hold any of the CryptoPunks, but I do have NFTs in the Punks comic universe, as well as Momos, which are NFTs of Mobox. And obviously
sweet.
Lakshmi NFT, which I'm the most proud of.
Definitely. Okay. Now, 3 projects you're excited about, which in the metaverse. From the world you can talk about.
So obviously, apart from Zionverse, what are the other 3 projects I'm excited about?
Yeah, of course.
Of course. So I think a couple of projects I'm looking forward to. One is Star Atlas. So Star Atlas obviously has a very grand vision of sort of a gaming universe that they are really looking to build. So really looking forward to that. I also really like Illuvium. They have also done a great job of actually launching their token, maintaining it, and seeing. And the other project which I'm really watching, I don't know how, I'm definitely excited to see what happens with it, is definitely Axie Infinity. They are by far the largest blockchain gaming they have created and been the pioneers. And I find that, like any ecosystem, they have their pros and cons, but they're a very talented team. And I'm really excited to see how they're going to navigate that entire ecosystem, given that they have all the attention, resources, and created into finally what we all want the metaverse to be. Yeah. So those are sort of 3 projects I really look at, apart from the NFT projects I told you before.
Wow. I think this podcast is going to be a perfect start for people to actually get into Web3, because we've talked about how the future is going to look like. We've talked about the fundamental needs which this particular platform or the revolution of Web3 is trying to solve as when it comes to human behavior. Then we've talked about what are the basic attitude or the curiosity or the kind of skills people need in order to grow and become something big here. And we have named at least 10 different things, up from, let's say, tokens to projects to the startup and the kind of thing which you're building, which is going to be a lot of content for people to consume. Even if they take one word and they spend 1 hour on that one word, it's going to take them like a lot of time to consume all of this. And I think it's a very good start. So thanks for giving all this knowledge. The last question, the question of the day is, what is that one tip you would give me so that I can improve what I'm doing?
Oh, I mean, look, I don't think I'm in a place to actually give you any tips. There's a lot. I have seen a lot of your videos, a lot that I learn. And particularly, one thing I really learn from the way you are doing things is the art of storytelling, because this is definitely something that I am learning. And like I'm a student in most skills, this is definitely something that I keep looking forward to. And one aspect of simplifying complex ideas and make those things even more interesting for you to consume is something I'm learning from what you're doing. I honestly, very honestly, don't have any tip for you. I don't think I'm the right person to be able to give you that tip either, Raj.
Wow, that just boosted my ego a lot, to be honest. On a serious note, let's connect after this. Thank you so much for being here and sharing all the things with us. I hope that people will find it extremely basic and knowledgeable podcast. And everybody who's really serious about making something in the future when it comes to Web3, Metaverse, and trying to get into gaming and immersion, you guys should click on the link below. We have put down a link of Zionverse, and everybody can start thinking and building then and there. This is your starting point. Don't miss out on this thing. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Raj. Really appreciate it and had a great time talking with you. Thanks so much.
Thanks, man.